What's going on, everybody? This is a segment from the Nerdgasm Talk podcast. If you like podcasts, well, why don't you come join us as the crew gets silly and Philly while we sit to talk about the latest in comics, games, movies, and all things pop culture. You guys can listen to our whole show on all the podcasts apps. We're on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, wherever you guys get your podcasts from. And make sure you guys also support the channel by subscribing to the Nerd Coalition Studios. And for the gaming needs, make sure you subscribe to Nerd Coalition Level Up. This is the Nerd Coalition. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. And now, feel the Nerdgasm. Okay, guys, so Amazon Prime just gave us a huge surprise that I was not even expecting, and I was probably not expecting for like another month or so. But Prime texted me and was like, hey, remember that movie Air? And I was like, because I was like, man, I was thinking about this. So many things is coming out. Before the summer movie season started, I was like, maybe I'll just go catch a side movie Air because I got the movie pass thing. But he was like, yo, it's on Amazon Prime. I was like, well, everything is on digital Amazon Prime, so that you got to pay for it or pay for it. Right? He said, no, with subscription, you can watch it. And I'm like, what? So I went on there, and lo and behold, there's Air. So, for those who are not familiar with Air is not the story of Michael Jordan, but the story of how Nike signed Michael Jordan. And I know, I know you may be out there, if you guys know the story, you're probably saying to yourself like, and okay, so Nike is the biggest shoe company in the world. At first, it wasn't. Nike was actually the worst because back in the 80s when basketball was like hot, like really at its height with Magic and Bird in the 80s era, it was all about Converse.
Converse and
Adidas.
Adidas.
Yeah, but when it came to but when it all came from like to playing, Converse was the ones that was just
I think at the time maybe Cap was the only one in Adidas, maybe.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Oh, Kareem. Sorry.
Kareem. Yeah. I guess you had to say this against Q-Flow listening.
No.
Shit. Nah. Okay. We fucking with you, Q. We promise. So.
Q watch Winning Time. He know he's Cap.
Yeah, you know he's. Yeah. So. We have this movie Air, which is directed by Ben Affleck, and real quick, if anybody knows that Ben Affleck can direct the hell out of a movie, if anybody like if I give you any recommendations, Argo and The Town, Gone Girl, those are some movies that he has directed. And Ben Affleck is a great director. So when I hear
but you know what was random about this though?
What
is that? So this is from like his company. So. It was just random that they didn't have to go through nobody.
Mm-hmm.
It was just like him and Matt Damon one day was just like, yeah, we want to make a movie about Michael Jordan. All right, let's do it. Kind of like Vin Diesel. He's like, all right, I don't got nothing to do today. Let's do a Fast and Furious movie. Like that's how I felt like it was.
Yeah.
Because of how it's not random, but like obviously if you're gonna make a movie about Michael Jordan, some people would just do it about Michael Jordan. Mm-hmm. But he was like, let's do how Jordan became the shoe and the everything like that, which I like. Yeah. And so I just like that they had the idea and it was like, yeah, let's just do it. Let's just do it with our company. Like that's not, So I do like that creativity.
I do agree with you now because there were some channels they had to go to because Michael Jordan is very strict about his likeness being used in anything. So when I heard about this kind of a movie, I was wondering. I was like, okay, well, what can they do? You know what I'm saying? In a way, because it's kind of like because people were still surprised about when The Last Dance, came out, and they were surprised that.
Well, he technically does not have to have any say so.
Okay,
but it is Michael Jordan.
Yeah, I mean, he had some say so in this movie.
No, he had some say so. You know how? I can tell you how. I'm just tell you. One person would not be in this movie if it was not for Michael Jordan himself saying this man has to be in this movie, and I will tell you who that is later.
Okay, and we'll just go down the cast. So real quick, so we are going to be doing on this section of the movie experience. We're going to be reviewing the movie Air, directed by Ben Affleck, starring Ben Affleck, Matt Damon, Jason Bateman, Marlon Wayans, Chris Tucker, Viola Davis, Chris Messina. All of these. It was like a really all-star cast in here, especially when we are going behind the scenes of what happened at Nike, with Phil Knight and Sonny Vaccaro, all those. And at first I was a little apprehensive about the movie, and but I'm a basketball guy, so I was like, especially I like sports movies, so I was kind of curious to see. Like, this is interesting that we're doing a movie on the sneaker, and so right off the bat, we'll discuss the good things that we liked about it. Then afterwards, we will discuss some of the things we probably didn't like about it. Then we're going to probably get into spoilers, and most likely, you know what I'm saying. So if you listen to the podcast right now, we'll get deep into it. The video version will probably be cut up, just to give you guys a fair warning about that. So real quick off the bat, I felt as though the one of the best things about this movie that I really really enjoyed was not for guys like me and you, Pride, but for people like Q Flow and Lady Sketch. They put this in layman's terms, like the basics, so you can truly understand what the fuck is going on.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I appreciate movies that do that to the point where it's just like, because you got some movies that's like unapologetic, like, hey, if you're a basketball hitter, you understand what's going on, you know the story, we're not going to hold your hand, this movie's for you. And it kind of leaves everybody else out. But when you're dealing with such a global icon, when you're dealing with somebody on the level of Michael Jordan, being able to, where it's just like, you may not know any other basketball player ever. You may hate sports like this. Remember when the other day we was talking about how Joel Embiid won MVP and Quattro was like, "Who's Joel Embiid?" And we're like, "Whoa!" But also it could be a thing where, but he know who Michael Jordan is.
Mm-hmm.
So this movie here, it was like it breaks it down to like even where like basically what is going on, why Nike is in the slumps, why Adidas and Converse is over them, even where the Nike slogan even came from, and I thought that was an interesting take. Also, do you remember that?
Yeah. Yeah, interesting because that was real. It's a real story.
Yeah, it was. I was just like,
obviously, for movie they make stuff fictional, but that was a story.
Yeah.
But since we're talking about the good, I just want to get it out the way and say Matt Damon's performance was very good in this movie.
I like Matt Damon. I did like Matt Damon. First of all, when Ben Affleck and Matt Damon are together, I think they do a pretty good job. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but no. Well, we're not getting to the bads. I'm not gonna get into that. But I did like Matt Damon. Matt Damon stood out to me because it's like when I see Matt Damon, I guess a lot of his characters that I've seen personally don't have like that heart like Sonny did.
Yeah.
So seeing him have like a heart, it was just like different in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like Viola Davis. Honestly, she can transform into a role. Like I know that's Viola Davis, but like she looks different. Like some people where they be trying to play somebody else, and you would just like see like you like that's that's Michael B. Jordan. That's not so and so. So I like that she can like disappear into the role.
Great example of that is when I remember when Ma Rainey's Black Bottom came out with Chadwick's last movie.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, Viola Davis turned into Ma Rainey, because now before that came out, Lady Sketch had seen the movie Betsy, with Queen Latifah, that had Monique play Ma Rainey, and when I looked at it, I was just like, that's just Monique playing Ma Rainey, opposed to when I looked at Viola Davis, I was like, damn, that's Ma Rainey. You know what I'm saying?
Like when Chadwick turned into James Brown, like it's like go into it, and some people just play it, and it's like,
Yeah, I
you gotta take your pick.
And also, fun fact about that, Michael Jordan told them. He told Ben Affleck, Viola Davis gotta be my mom. Nobody else.
Yes. Yes.
Nobody else. Michael said, y'all want this movie to happen? Viola Davis is my mom. No ifs, ands, or buts about that. Because he know she going to bring justice to his mama, and she going to do the role right. And I think when it came to his mom, Dolores, and James Jordan, because he looked like James. He just a little bit heavier, but he looked like James Jordan. I think so. So, yeah, everybody really did their part. Even Chris Tucker, who plays Howard White, did his part. There were some parts where Chris Tucker was creeping out. I will say that. There were some parts where...
I'm just go ahead and say it. Chris Tucker was the one that Michael Jordan said has to be in this movie.
That Michael said Chris Tucker got to be in this movie.
No, Michael said Howard has to be in this movie.
Oh yeah, okay. Howard White has to be in the movie. Yes.
Yes. So he said Howard has to be in this movie, and when they did it, they didn't have nothing for Howard. So that's why Chris Tucker was doing, because Chris Tucker didn't have. They probably had like 2 or 3 lines, and then they were just like, fill it in, ad lib. So that's why it would go from like a regular person to like Chris Tuckerisms.
Yeah. Oh. Okay. Yeah.
But it's just like
because he went from, because I like his role because see, he had an actual role in the movie. Like Marlon Wayans had a part. Because Marlon Wayans.
First of all, they should not have said this movie starring Marlon Wayans, because you don't count 1 2-minute scene as starring in the movie. Unless you Chris Brown and stomp the yard.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, Chris Brown's helped sell that movie, but yeah, Marlon Wayans plays George Raveling, who I believe was Michael's coach in the Olympics. When I ain't talking about the Dream Team, I'm talking about that 1984. When only the college kids could play in the Olympic Games.
Yep, Patrick Ewing.
Yeah, exactly. And when and the fun fact to find out that Martin Luther King gave him his speech, and I thought that was dope, and he was offered $3 million for it, and he still hasn't sold it.
I ain't gonna lie.
He said take it.
Sir,
He
that's
said,
$3 million.
You'd have been like, take it. So the cast doesn't want.
Look. I'm just saying, like, $3 million is a lot, okay?
Yeah, bro. Look,
$3 million is a lot for something I could just go on YouTube and look up.
Look, I understand the because first of all, Martin King's one of my heroes, and if he had gave me that speech, I'm just like, all right. So do you want the whole speech, or you want like these last pages? You know what I'm saying? Or how about I Xerox them? You know what I'm saying?
Or just give it to a museum, and the museum can pay me, like, something, like,
But I was, but look, I thought that little fun fact was good. But overall, the cast was really dynamic in the movie. And they did something else in this movie that I didn't know if I was gonna like it first, but I ended up loving it. Whereas they don't have a cast for Michael Jordan. They keep.
Shout out to Damian Young.
What'd you say?
Shout out to Damian Young, is the guy that played Michael Jordan's body double.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's like they kept the whole mystique, because Jordan is so fucking big. Like the mystique of Michael Jordan. Like when you just see behind him, you're like, that's Jordan. He got the profile. That's Jordan. But they never showed his face. He has like maybe he says like one word like.
He has 2 words.
Yeah, Bulls colors.
And then Bulls colors.
he has 2
lines. I would say the hello sounded like Michael, but the Bulls colors did not sound like Michael.
I'm pretty sure they just took a soundbite of Michael and just put hello in there. But yeah, with the Bulls colors, I was like, okay, but he didn't say anything, because I understand why Ben Affleck went with that direction, because as soon as you show his face, and as soon as you show somebody who's been acting, it goes from a movie about Nike to a movie about Michael Jordan. And it takes away from everything that they're trying to educate you and show you in the movie. So I thought that was a nice taste of it, and it goes by smooth for just a movie. It talks a lot about business and stuff like that, especially with me being a lover of basketball. I was going through when they was talking about, the 1984 draft, which is one of the best draft classes that they had, talking about Barkley, talking about John Stockton, talking about Order Strope, talking about, Sam Bowie, the bus, and Hakeem Olajuwon, talking about all of them. I was enjoying, what their strategy was of how they were trying to get these athletes for Nike. And I also like the way how Chris Tucker, Howard White, Chris, who's being played by Chris Tucker, how he broke it down in the beginning of why nobody liked Nike in the beginning. Because it was a running shoe, and at the time, Nike wasn't popular because Converse, all the Isaiah Thomas, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, was all wearing the Converse. And Julius Erving, they was all wearing the Converse. And then the Adidas was what was hot because that was the, hip hop really exploded. Run DMC was promoting the shit out of the Adidas. They had the track suits and they had the shell tops.
Jesus.
Yes, and I'm gonna tell you something. Fresh pair of Adidas. I'm telling you, when my wife years ago got me a fresh pair of them, I was just like, man, I ain't appreciate them until they was in my head with, especially with the shell toes. Yeah. That in the track, that thing was, everybody was going to parties, he was breakdancing, he was doing everything in there. So they really broke it down on why nobody give a fuck about Nike and they care about these other shoe companies. And another thing I liked also was, maybe it's just me, I'm a sucker for nostalgic stuff. Speaking of which, since you have a nostalgic whole podcast and theme, I think they handled the 80s very well.
That was a gripe I had.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, I'm curious. I want to hear that.
So I feel like they handled it like the 80s as far as the music that was playing and like the 80s.
You was a New Edition, huh?
No. The Axel Foley and everything was cool. I'm talking about what I had a great with, more or less, like I said, could just be a nitpicking thing, is the visuals. Like, yes, they used the old school TV and they used the old school, stuff like that. But everything else, I felt like okay. How can I put this? Like, when they showed the Adidas building or the Converse building, it's like that's how the building is today.
Yeah.
But it didn't look like that back then. It's like, I'm not saying that they got to build a whole building, but something they could have did, or they could even show old footage of the actual building, or some things like that. Because sometimes I was looking at it and I was like, this does not look like the 80s. This just looks like now. And it's like, I was just taken out of it by some points.
Okay, I can understand probably, of how the builds up. I'm talking about when they did like the whole montage of basically what's going on in like this decade of the 80s, of showing out.
Yes, that was good. Yes.
Yeah, the different movies, the different styles, the different music, especially all the music that was throughout the whole movie. I thought it was a great selection of music from all across the board that is just, when you hear it, you're like, it's the 80s. You know what I'm saying? So I felt as though they did a good job with that, especially with the way their styles and their workplace. I was like, my God, these old computers, these old shag rugs, and these colors, and probably all this asbestos and everything. I'm like, yeah, it's 80s, man. So, well, actually, no, because the asbestos thing was banned in the 70s. But anyway, so I thought that was it was something I really enjoyed. Now, let's take a moment to go over to some of the things that we probably necessarily didn't like about the movie. I know you had some. So if you want to say,
like we talked about earlier, some of Howard was hit and miss.
Yeah.
Speaking of missing, James putting out an APB on you.
Yeah.
calling James. James, come to the stage, please.
Yes. He was really like the. I'm not gonna. He wasn't dumb, but by no means. It's just that it's like when Sonny went to go see George at the bar, and he was just like, oh yeah, Dolores, she runs shit. It was like, and I understand they had to illustrate that, you know, you don't fuck with her. She runs shit.
They had to illustrate, but they gave my man like 4 lines in the whole movie.
Yeah, so they get he had limited amount of lines, but it for me it was more the things like, and like this is a very nitpick where it was like, it's like he at all these meetings. He be the one being on board. It's kind of like turned on by everything. Like, oh, this is a nice shoe. Oh, I like this video. That's our boy right there, man. He get anything he want. And his mom was like, "No, we gonna do business the right way. We ain't gonna just jump on anybody." You know. So I say other than that, I wish Marlon, me personally, would have had a bigger part. I understand why his part was there. I say what what he was credited for. Did I wish it could have been like a little bit of a bigger part? Sure, you know. But I mean that's just like that's like a nitpick, you know.
I had a gripe with not with Ben Affleck's performance, but with him playing Phil Knight.
Okay.
Because I've seen stuff with Phil Knight. Like Phil Knight he's not a weird dude. He's like a hippie dude. But it's like Phil Knight was not that negative of the whole situation in real life. But like in this movie, he's just against everything. Like this movie, he doesn't want to do nothing.
He don't want to do it at all. Well, I mean, I can understand that. You know, it's like a risk, you know, to his company that he grew. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, he will be apprehensive about a lot of things, especially dealing with Sonny. You know what I'm saying? Especially how they illustrate Sonny, like, you know, he's he's so in the basketball, and then he just it's like he's a gambling man also, and he can tend to, you know, gamble on the wrong thing. So it's kind of hard for them when he hasn't really brought in too many victories to go ahead and to trust this Michael Jordan kid. So I could understand that, you know, the apprehensive there of not wanting.
I'm just saying factually, like.
I mean, like the fact, because obviously in the movie you got to create some kind of drama. You know, you got to be able to create, you know, because I mean, honestly, you're right. They could have just been like, you know what, Michael Jordan.
What I would have did is I would have had Jason Bateman be the guy that's hating.
Yo, he has a. I like, it's something about Jason Bateman. That's just like, I like that guy. I like that guy, Jason Bateman. It's something about him. It's like, you know what, I like that guy. So
I'm just saying, how can you be like a quote unquote open, free spirited hippie, but every time he's trying to give you an answer and telling you to like think or be an open thinker, you're like, no. So
do you run? No, I just like how he just looked down his gut. It was just like, no, I don't run. So it was kind of like, you know, give me like how they was. Oh, I guess, you know, the Terminator the last days, like them Phil Jackson vibes, you know. So I get I enjoy what Ben Affleck did with it. So, and like I said, him and Matt Damon was hitting all cylinders. There's not really that much in this movie that I
just thought of another one.
It's
not a nitpick, but maybe it's something I would have wanted them to do differently. Is that maybe I would have wanted to see the aftermath, not just have it be in a flashback or whatever. Because it's like as soon as he signs, then we see old Michael Jordan. I'm like, I wish we could at least seen the first season, maybe, or not the first, like, you know, like them realizing that it's a big hit.
I get what you're saying, but it would it would have took away because then once again, like I said, when you cross that territory, we are now getting into a Michael Jordan movie.
No, not seeing him wear, but I'm saying like, seeing them saying like, seeing like, oh, we're becoming the most popular shoe, and I mean, we've seen a little bit of it at the end where he got the magazine.
Yeah.
But I wish that we don't have to see Michael anymore in the movie. We don't have to talk about Michael, but talk about the shoe. Like, instead of saying just putting on the screen, oh, it gained so and so $1 million. Like have a scene where they calling him and telling him how much this profit he made or something.
Okay, I mean, yeah, I know they had the whole text, when it at the bottom explaining like basically like where are they now and what really happened to Nike. I'm like, shit, you know exactly what happened to Nike right now. I'm just saying. So, Jordan blew them up, which I also liked how they broke down the deal at the end of what he was signing. It was like, okay, yeah, I get the $250,000. I'm getting my car that I want, but if this is going to be a shoe built around me and not me around the shoe, I want a piece of that. And I'm like, because that's, bruh. And 100, and I like, he was like, we made $3 million once on one shoe. $162 million in the first year, bruh. That's insane. We're talking about the 80s here, and now where they get $4 billion annually. Annually, why?
And that's just Jordan.
That's just Jordan, and exactly. And Jordan's cut is at $400 million. For just getting that cut, bruh. And like I said, because look, have I gone out and waited in line for a pair of J's? No. I run sneakers into the ground. So, but I do have a couple pairs of Jordans though. Especially a lot of them were gifts to me, and the one pair of Jordans I actually went out there and bought was I call my Barclays because they were the white, purple, orange, like the Phoenix Suns colors. Yeah, with the black, the Jordan 1s, which I think is some of the best kind. So, do you own pairs of Jordans, or you have the pair of Jordans, or you been out a lot?
Yeah, I got Jordans. I don't have like none of the ones that you see. Like I have like more newer style Jordans. Like, I don't have like the Jordan 10s or 11s or the one. Like I don't have those kinds. I have like the newer kind, like the I don't know none of the names, so let me not get on the names, but I don't have none of those like classic ones that you see, even when he played for the Wizards. I don't have none of those.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, he changed the game on that, man. I was like, that's dope. It just remind me like Lil Jason Weaver's mom talking about some he getting royalty checks for this Simba song, right? Just can't wait to be king, and that man like, all right. Them Jones keep coming in. That joint was a big hit. So, yeah, it's good to go, get the royalty and get a piece of that. Also, since just getting that one-time payment.
Yeah, also, I don't think we needed the Michael Jordan thing at the end, though.
I get why they did it. Me, personally, I like the whole montage when Sonny was giving his speech to him in Nike. I thought that was excellent.
I think that's the only one we need. I don't think we needed another one at the end.
Yeah,
because it was weird to me because I'm like they showed it like in the montage. They showed like it didn't in the montage. They showed like the video of the dad's car.
Yeah,
I'm not. Why did they do that? Why was that necessary?
Yeah, because the thing is,
I know it happened, but I'm like, why not just focus on basketball?
Yeah. No, but because like I said, the reason why I love that so much is because Eddie said like cut that video off because I was like because even to me I was like this video is becoming cringy. I was just like
I knew from the song.
Yeah, I was like this video is getting cringy.
Honestly, I thought they was gonna try to do it as if like Ben Affleck was gonna mess it up because. Look, so we in spoiler territory, right?
Yes, we are. Go ahead.
So they plan this meeting, and in the meeting, Ben Affleck is supposed to come in 7 minutes late because he's so busy.
Yeah.
So but when he does it, he didn't just come and say, "Hey, I'm late." He says, "Hey, I'm late because this is a big business. I'm important. This company is over $4 billion or whatever." I'm like, "You're doing too much. Just say I'm late and I'm sorry and I'm here." Like I'm very
I
busy.
agree with you. It was a little cringe. Yeah. I was like, "Bro, you laying on way too thick."
Yeah.
Way too thick.
Because he was like, and then right after he said that he was like, video, we have a video, and then they started talking a little bit, and he was like, okay, Yeah, okay. Video. We have video.
Yes.
Yeah, video. I was like, come on, no, but you so excited to play this trash video.
Yeah, I was just like, but when he took it off, he gave him like a real speech, and everything he was saying, they were showing what happened in Joy. He said, but it's how you're gonna be a rise, you're gonna be a god, and they said you're gonna be the best and everything, and then once you get to where they want you to get, they're gonna do everything they can to tear you down, and then you're gonna be at your loneliest. That's why they showed when his dad died, because he was very close to his dad, and then when his dad was murdered the way he was,
I couldn't tell. Not in this movie.
shit. When his dad was murdered, it was like that was one of his lowest points, and he went to baseball. But then it's like, well, can you come back? And he came back, and then we won 3 more championships. So showing that montage, I do think was just excellent. I enjoyed the speech that Sonny did and everything. I was like, shit, y'all got me. Can I sign even though y'all don't need me? But I was like, but that's what it was, and I was like, that was dope. Because the one line said, look, when anybody's time comes to die, ain't nobody gonna remember nobody in this room but you. You're going to change the world. And that also, when they went to get the sneakers made, which I did not even know this until this movie. I did not know they had fines for shoes being...
Yeah.
I did not even know that. As much of a basketball fan as I am, I did not even know that.
Yeah, because they had an all black one and he couldn't wear it at all. It was like all black and red, and I think no white, and he couldn't wear it at all. Then, the next season they changed it, so it's only for the first season.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, yeah, because they offered to pay up all the fines, which they obviously it looked like pennies back. I mean. How much money?
Surprisingly, it's not that many.
Is that many what?
Fines.
It wasn't that many fines that they had to take care of?
No, because for some reason, I forgot how it worked out, but the first season he didn't really even wear them like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next season, I guess they wanted to wait for the first season. I guess they was getting the deal done, or I don't know what happened, but he didn't wear them like that. He wore them in the dunk contest and somewhere else, and they paid for those fines. But other than that, he didn't really wear them that often. For 82 game season, he did not wear them often for them to take those fines.
Gotcha. Okay.
Next season, though, I guess next season when they came back, and that's when they had the 162 million. Then they was like, all right, we finding you and we making more shoes. So yeah. I think that's when they started,
Gotcha.
Doing everything.
But yeah, I was just like, man, I did not even know about they had that 51% white in their shoe. I was just like, really? Okay, because that's crazy. But everybody had that. But I mean, shit, like now everybody getting fined the way sneaks look today in basketball. So but yeah, that was a fun fact that I didn't even learn about. I like how they constructed the Jordan, how we got the whole. Jordan Jumpman logo and everything like that on all the Jordan stuff, and how how it came to fruition. I was like, yo, man, because he even my sister's boyfriend when he was watching, he was like, yo, man, for somebody who doesn't know basketball that well, Jordan was that dope, right? I was like, bro, like you don't even know of the work ethic and stuff like that he had. I told him to go watch The Last Dance, but yeah, it was it was inspiring. It was good. There's not, like I said, there's not much negative. Of me to say, but where would you grade Air? At what grade would you grade?
I would. Dang, what's above hashtag give it a chance?
It's a B plus. We still haven't come up with a B.
Well, yeah, well, it's a B.
Yeah, so I'm gonna give it like a B plus. I really enjoy. So far out of the movies I've seen this year, this is one that's on my favorite list.